r/ask Reddit. What's the rudest thing a guest in your home has done? We had two couples come to stay with us from overseas, and one of the couples spent the entire time arguing and getting into massive fights. This included screaming, crying, slamming doors, sulking, the works, for 3 weeks. It was the longest 3 weeks of my life. Edit. Thank you for the shiny silver, kind Redditor. My friend and her boyfriend came to stay with me once and did this the whole time too. And I mean, they fought over everything. I think my favorite is when her boyfriend started crying hysterically and locked himself in the bedroom because he slipped and fell when he got out of the pool and my friend didn't comfort him enough. Her boyfriend started crying hysterically and locked himself in the bedroom because he slipped and fell when he got out of the pool and my friend didn't comfort him enough. That has got to be bordering on some sort of roleplay fetish territory, right? Kid tried to cut my birthday cake and open my presents. The whole time his mom was laughing like it was some joke. Edit. I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the replies. And the silver. This is the first time I've ever got a silver. It's amazing. I'm going to try and reply to all the comments I get. I will also add a story to this post so everyone gets to see the full story here. Part 2. I was duck-eyeing mad. I looked at the mom and she was like, "Oh Jonathan, don't do that sweetie." The ducking kid kept doing it. I grabbed him and the ducker was fighting me to open my presents. I shit you not. He just had to see what was inside. Then he tried to cut my cake. Tell his mom to get the knife, he is ready to cut his cake. What pissed me off the most was that none of the parents did shit. My mom was in the kitchen so she couldn't see what was happening. They all just sat there watching it happen. It was only after I was like, "Duck this, I am done, I don't care anymore, it's ruined." Did my aunt do something? She didn't see it happen either because she was helping my mom. Part 3. The kid was 8 and I was 6. The whole time his mom was laughing like it was some joke. This is the terrifying part. All kids like presents. All kids need to be taught that not all presents are for them. Kids understand that. They don't always want it, but they do. They just need to be taught. OMG, so true. I know parents that buy their kids gifts on other kids' birthdays because the kid throws a tantrum when he does not get a gift. Well, they certainly are not going to learn if you keep buying presents. I had a friend who used to jump onto furniture like lawn chairs and stuff. He claimed it wouldn't break it, but sometimes he did break stuff and he just complained it's not his fault but that the furniture was too fragile. You have a shitty friend. Honey, John's coming over. Hide all the furniture. Hide it behind the front door, so he can't come in. Stole $70. Short meth in my bathroom. Dropped lit cigarettes on my carpet. Tried to justify it by saying they cleaned my sink. Edit. Holy duck, thank you for the silver. Walks into bathroom, holy shit, it smells like meth in here. But these sinks are remarkably clean. The secret is to clean them with meth. Let their child punch our brand new TV and laughed as he did it as if it was cute. Makes me so mad when other people's kids are being shitty and the parents think it's so cute and do nothing about it. Those kinda people are just accidental parents. I knew one such mom when I was a kid. Her kid literally punched me in the nose at a party and all she did was sit and stare while someone else's mom had to come rushing in to save the day. Well, that's what my mom told. Apparently she was like this everywhere and eventually everybody just stopped inviting her as she had seemed to have no interest in even the slightest bit of parenting. Used my laptop to watch porn and it ended up with tons of viruses. Took a big dump and put almost a whole roll of toilet paper in the toilet. Told my nephew his friend was never allowed back. Edit. This was 10 to 12 years ago. The last line is funnier if you assume that he is the one telling your nephew his friend isn't allowed back, for no reason. My 10-year-old distant cousin unwrapped 3 new bars of soap and flushed them down the toilet on the 3rd floor of my house. That night, we returned from dinner to find water dripping from the ceiling on the 1st floor. The 3rd floor bathroom had flooded and the water leaked through the floor, dripped from the ceiling of the 2nd floor, and leaked though to the ceiling of the 1st floor. The whole mess cost thousands of dollars to repair. The kid confessed everything with great glee and his mother just thought it was the funniest thing. Would have sent them the bill. Would she think it's funny then? Absolutely. Tried to crawl into bed with me while I was asleep with my husband next to me in bed. Creepy and rude. Your kids? LOL. No, a very inebriated and seriously mental friend. My kids just stand over me while the room is pitch black staring at me, and I imagine trying telepathically to wake me up. I'd take either of them over friend any day. So I was away for the weekend, and my roommate had some friends over for drinks. Problem is, when he drinks he often blacks out, which he did before ensuring all his friends had left. In the morning he discovers 2 friends stayed the night in my room. Not cool, but at least they didn't drink and drive, I guess, so not initially enraged. But when I finally make it home I discover blood that is very clearly from period sex on my duvet cover. Not hoopsies started in the middle of the night puddle but edge of the bed, on top, smeared around. And we're not party college kids. We're all mid-30s with real jobs and what one might assume is a little bit of respect. They're not welcome back. I had a friend do the same thing while my roommate was out of town. I was so pissed, but you never saw me run quicker to the laundromat. My friend never heard the end of it from me. Can I have your half of the money for this pizza? Can you not have period sex in my bed? Stole money from our engagement cards at our house during our engagement party. What were they addicted to? Man, if you ask someone from this thread, there are too many beta references to choose from. My mum welcomed a faraway cousin or someone into our house. He walked into the kitchen where my dad was sitting watching TV and said, "And who the duck is this? Dot." I had a party at my house one time and some guy was being a shit, so I told him to tone it down. He asked me, "Who the duck are you?" I told him, "You're in my house. Who the duck are you?" Edit. Thanks for the silver. It honestly made my shit day much better. That must have been one satisfying bomb drop. When I was in university, one of roommates asked if a high school friend of his from back home could come visit and stay in our apartment for a night or two. I agreed, but I was writing midterms and was stressed beyond belief, so I firmly requested that they not party at our place so that I could get to sleep uninterrupted. I came home from the library at 11 PM and they were both shit-faced. My roommate was passed out in his bedroom. There was rank smelling puke all over the toilet seat, and his friend had brought a girl home from the campus bar and was currently having sex in my bed. WTF. I kicked his and her asses out of the apartment, and then ended up doing laundry at 11:30 PM because my sheets were sweaty and covered in their duck juices. I no longer speak with this roommate. My university roommate would tell people at her parties that they could go have sex in my bedroom if I wasn't there. Unfortunately, the door only locked from the inside, so every time I left for the weekend, I would stack furniture and appliances Tetris style onto my bed until it reached the ceiling. It worked really well. Only one horny couple managed to dismantle about a third of the pile before giving up. Worth the effort. Why would she do that? No respect. I've made this post before, so I'll just copy paste it here. Not my house but my car. I don't have many rules for passengers when I'm driving, but there are 2 I will never budge on. 1. Wear your seatbelt. 2. Do not smoke in my car. I had just bought a car. It wasn't brand new, but I knew the previous and only owner, and I knew he was a car guy who took meticulous care of his cars inside and out. He wouldn't even sell me the car before he had given the engine a proper service. Within a week of getting the car, a friend asked for a lift to the train station. I knew he smoked, so as we walked to the car I told him specifically to wait until we get to the station before he lights up. A 10-minute ride at most. I back out of the parking spot, drive to the exit of the parking lot, and as I check my left hand side for oncoming cars I hear from my right the distinctive sound of a lighter sparking up. Dude could not even ducking wait until we were out of the ducking car park before he just had to have his goddamn cigarette. I ask him what the hell he thinks he's doing, and he just looks at me and says, "Relax. It's not like it's a new car." Ducker ended up walking to the train station. Good lad. I never smoke in cars or people's houses unless they do so themselves, and even then I feel uncomfortable. Can't imagine doing it after being specifically told not to. I smoke, but not in my car or house. Stale smoke ducking reeks. Male friend asked that my partner and I take ourselves and our 12-month-old daughter to a motel for a night whilst he uses our house to try his luck with one of our female friends we invited over for a game night. I have to know how he broached this question. Whoa, what a moronic suggestion. How did that turn out? told their children ages 4 and 8 that they can put their feet with their shoes on our furniture. Their justification was that we let our dog get on the furniture. My husband told them no feet on our furniture previously and this pissed the parent off. My dog outranks your kids. My dog outranks you and your kids. I was going to post about the time I was really angered by friends of friends staying and emptying our bar fridge. It was fully stocked with beer, emptying the wine fridge, also stocked, and a random bottle of Baileys. None of these things go together, heathens, and not offering to replace any of it, while making themselves completely at home and even inviting guests over to view their place. But in reading these, I'm starting to feel much better that no meth was involved. Maybe it's time for me to let that grudge go. I take it they weren't of drinking age. My old roommate had the tendency of inviting all the college freshmen over, who loved her because she was over 21 and always had weed. Nothing like coming home from a long work day to see all the parking spaces are taken. The house is filled with weed smoke, and they are drinking your after work beer. Never once did she or they clean, replace my food and booze. Yeah, never happened. If you're reading this, Heather, duck you. You were the shittiest roommate I've ever had. I took on a temporary housemate one time because a friend of mine asked me if I could house one of their friends for a while. I had a few spare bedrooms so I agreed and quickly regretted it. From day one, this person ate my food, drank my alcohol, never cleaned after themselves, smoked inside even though I asked them not to, and invited friends over at all hours of the night. One night, at 4 AM, I awoke to the sounds of strangers arguing in my own living room and that was the last straw for me. I kicked them out in a fiery rage and told this temp tenant they were no longer living in my home. They had 30 days to vacate. I just don't understand how inconsiderate and completely rude some people can be. I did this person a favor and they had absolutely zero respect. Drank half of the $200 bottle of tequila I got my wife for her birthday. She filled it up with water so we wouldn't notice. Oh. Sounds like she owes you $200. I was going to say $100. But actually yeah, not only did they drink half, they also ruined the other half. My ex-girlfriend got shit-faced drunk at my grandmother's funeral then got into a screaming match with my brother and dad in the front yard. That's so trashy, not how most people pay their respects to grandma. Oh, I forgot this one. A friend of a relative stayed with my parents for a week. The guy was Argentinian, late 50s. He was very old-fashioned, religious etc. For example, he even told my parents that it was wrong that I was living with my boyfriend without being married. One day he asked my mum to use her PC to check his email was in there for quite a while. Right. You guessed it, he was watching porn. But I guess he didn't remember the website he wanted because he first googled in Spanish young ladies with dark hair having sex and a few variations of that. My mum found all that in her internet history, called him out. He tried to blame my then 16-year-old brother, who had his own PC, speaks mostly English, wouldn't have googled in Spanish, and was away on a camping trip he wasn't welcomed back. Mum's cousin visited with a friend. Cousin and friend were early 20s, old enough to be decent house guests. Mum ordered takeaway for the adults and put fish fingers and chips in the oven for us kids. Before the takeaway turned up, the guests decided they were hungry and ate the fish fingers without telling anyone. Mum opened the oven to find a tray of chips and an empty tray where the fish fingers should have been, and had to put more on so we wouldn't go hungry. It seems small now, but who the hell eats a child's dinner when theirs is less than 10 minutes away? Edit. Stop suggesting they were stoned. Oh my ducking god. I would have been so gutted if my parents got takeaway and I had to eat fish fingers and chips. My really close friend brought his now ex-girlfriend that was super controlling over while me and a few other friends were hanging out. About 30 minutes in, she decided that she is going to go into my super white bathroom and dye her hair black. Not only this, but if you've never dyed your hair before, you must rinse your hair out to get excess dye out. She ended up staining my white counters, bathtub, shower, floor, 2 decorative towels, my carpet outside the bathroom and my toilet. I was so irate and I don't think she understood that you do not do this shit in someone else's house without asking them. Literally everyone that was over, including me, told her to get her now just showered naked ass out of my house. I was so done because she just stained so much shit that will not come out easy. It makes my blood boil thinking about it now. Who goes over to a stranger's house and dyes their hair? My cousin and her daughter, who has Down syndrome, were visiting and staying with me in my home. Her kid pooped in a quilt, and for some reason my cousin rolled it up and shoved it in the closet in the guest room without telling me. I discovered it after they left. It was rolled up pretty good so I didn't smell it immediately, because my dog stood in front of the closet and barked non-stop until I came and found it. She was so offended by it and didn't stop barking until it was completely cleaned up. Haha. Edit. I called her and said, I found the quilt from your bed rolled up with poop in the closet. What happened? And she said, oh, daughter had an accident. Sorry. You mean your family doesn't have a designated poop quilt? Edit. Silver. Thank you. If anyone is gonna poop in the quilt it's gonna be me. Your dog probably. I had people over at my apartment and someone's friend upper decked my toilet. When a niece came in and immediately stood in front of the TV and changed the channel. She was around 15. There was several people watching it. Most of my friends' kids, age 7-11, have this problem. I tell their parents every single time. This is unacceptable behavior for a civilized human being and I figure it's better that their random aunt is a dong about it than every possible friend and mate that they meet for the rest of their lives think they're a selfish twat. Damn. We wouldn't even grab the remote when dad was passed out napping with it. I had a house guest invited by a roommate have a psychotic breakdown. He literally came into all our rooms, rummaged through our drawers, and left anything of sexual value on top of the dresser or nightstand as if to announce that he went through it all. Condoms, lube, birth control pills, etc. He found ways to expose himself and walked in on my roommates having sex. We kicked him out inside of 48 hours. It should have been sooner. We changed the locks. We actually all knew this guy and hosted him before and he was great. We were cleaning house a few months later and found a bag of his pubes. He literally came into all our rooms as soon as I saw that line. I was going to make a cum joke. Then I read the rest. And I have to seriously ask, did this guy come in all of your rooms? Literally? Let her dog, who was on a leash, pee on me and continued talking to finish her thought before taking him outside. She also didn't help clean it up. You didn't interrupt with what the duck is wrong with you? Based on this thread a lot of people would watch their entire family be tortured to death without saying a word. My grandfather's cousin was staying with us for a week. He has a bladder problem and would refuse to wear adult diapers. What followed was him leaving a trail of pee, sometimes poo, when he walked around the house. Didn't take too long for my mother to ask his son to take him back home. All I can say is, if you're leaving trails of fesses behind you it's time to get off your high horse and into some diapers. Picked up my very small poodle, held her on her back with two hands over a 10-featuring balcony. If my dog would have even wiggled, she would have fallen to her death. I had a friend visit once, was in the area on the way to something else. I had a ferret at the time. Ferrets tend to bite. I always warn people. He bit her under the arm and she grabs him and throws him to the ground. I react calmly but tell her off to some degree. She then asks if she can take him to show some other friend she's meeting up with. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? You just showed me you can't even handle him in the house. You think I'm going to let you take him out in public? If someone threw my animal they'd get a permanent handprint across the face. A friend of mine demanded that my dad give her his iPhone charger, not to borrow, to keep. He politely declined and she huffed off muttering about how he was too old for an iPhone anyway. He was 49 at the time. She now wonders why he doesn't talk to her. Why do you still talk to her? Came over for lunch. Assumed they'd be spending the night at my place. Got mad when I told them that the invitation was for lunch only. Our family. The whole story https://old reddit.com/justnafamilycomments /99jk65 / but thea familiar. My nana once came over unannounced, as nans do, and got all upset that we didn't prepare any dinner for her. Open bracket. It was like 5 PM and we normally don't eat till 7, even though we offered coffee and snacks. Not in my house but my uncle's. My brother and his, now ex, girlfriend were over at my uncle's house watching a movie. From what I was told, my brother had his girlfriend laying down on his lap and he was plucking her armpit hair and putting it on the couch. Edit. Holy shit. I didn't think my brother's ex's armpit hair would be my second highest comment, lol. I'm honored. Not ducking flushing the goddamn toilet. And leaving drops of urine on the seat. Clean up after yourself, damn it. I did this once by accident. Took the biggest shit of my life in my friend's toilet. Was on the seat so long I got distracted. Wiped and washed my hands and left. This is the only time I've ever done this. The next day friend was complaining about how her roommate left a massive shit in the toilet. Only then did I realize it was me. I was the shitter. I will take this to my grave. A few friends and I were having some drinks last summer when a guy we know showed up at my house uninvited with a friend of his who was so drunk he immediately passed out on my couch. This now sleeping dude drove both of them to my house. Guy continues to get plastered and do coke. Complained about the music we were listening to and kept trying to put his own terrible punk band on. He cornered my wife and demanded she change her shirt because he has beef with the singer in the band on her shirt. Refused to sit in anything other than a broken chair that we had to put in another room when he went to the bathroom. Then complained when it was 6 AM and we said we're going to bed. Waking his drunk friend up saying I guess we're getting kicked out. Then they both left in drunk dude's car. My boyfriend invited a couple dudes over while I was at work because we only have a 1-bedroom apartment and I don't always enjoy sitting there watching them game. It was considerate. Anyways, he was asleep and they were gone when I got home since I work third shift. I noticed my new bathroom mat was discolored and assumed it was from shoes and didn't closely observe. Anyways, I made him look at it with me when he got up because I was a bit mad since it was brand new. Upon further observation, we came to the conclusion that before leaving, his friend wiped shit all over my new bathroom mat. It turned out to be brown finger streaks across the whole thing. Threw that out immediately. The toilet paper was readily available BTW. They are not allowed in the apartment anymore. And it was weird because they weren't on bad terms, they actually wanted to hang out again. Insisted on making dinner. Burned the steaks. Insisted on making hamburgers. I told him I didn't like onions. Made the hamburgers with chunks of onions. I tried to eat one, but chunks of raw onions is not something I want to eat. He made beans in a crock pot, but didn't refrigerate them overnight. Just left them out in the crock pot. Plugged it in the next morning and let them cook all day the second day. Claimed if there was any bacteria in there, cooking it killed it all. Repeated for a week. Spouse and I ate the beans the first night and refused any leftovers. We had record heat for days on end, so we ran the air conditioning. He would not quite shut the door to the outside, leaving a small crack letting the cool air out and his smoking in. Every time I passed by, I'd shut the door till it latched. Worse, we had indoor only cats and they would occasionally escape because he could not understand that the door needed to be shut. He left open potatoes chip bags in the pantry. It wasn't any one thing. Although food poisoning and endangering the cats were pretty close, it was a conglomeration of a lot of little things. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.